What is going on, everybody? My name is Ciara Lawler. Welcome to another week of Movie Mondays. This is the Here to Hire podcast. We are back again talking all the week's movie news, entertainment news, and just generally having a bit of a chit-chat about everything to do with film. As always, I am joined by my partner in crime, Mr. Shaun Meehan. Shaun, how is it going?
Connor, this might be the most important episode we've ever done. Because, not to give any spoilers out, but possibly the biggest trailer of the millennium dropped over the weekend.
We live in a society, Shaun.
We do indeed, and thank God it's this one.
And we've been talking for like months, it feels like, about this Snyder Cut. And then, all of a sudden, Valentine's Day. I'm minding my business, Shaun. You know me, crying into a corner on Valentine's Day. That's my natural annual thing. But then,
it's your tradition.
It's my tradition. But then I look at my phone, and it just pings a little bit. I look at it, Zack Snyder, new trailer drops. And I think, oh, that won't lead to discussion tomorrow. Definitely not.
No, I'll bypass that, enjoy my Valentine's Day in the corner, and maybe we just won't talk about it on Monday, but no, I insisted.
So we are going to be talking all things Justice League later on in the episode. That'll be our main event, Shaun, because we do have lots of other news this week, a lot of comic book stuff, but also stuff not involving comic books that might surprise you in the natural movie world these days.
Yeah, I'm surprised that anything isn't about comic books these days.
Wait, everything is not about my hobby. We would not have fared well in 2001.
Oh, the dark days.
Movies were like, comic books are for idiots.
It's just like, you have X-Men, that's fine, I guess, but after that, get out of here.
Yeah, so, Shaun, what we're going to do this week is we're going to start off with a movie that... So we're ending on the trailer about Justice League, but I'm going to start this week with, I think, a worse idea for a film.
Interesting that you assume that I think Justice League will be bad.
That's actually, you know what?
Continue.
I'm putting words in your mouth.
Oh, correct words, but we'll get to it.
We'll get to them. So here we have, Shaun, the first news story of the week, and that is new Face Off movie is a direct sequel and not a reboot as previously thought, Shaun.
Oh my God. So we reported on this story originally, and we were thinking, what's the point of remaking it? Because it would just be the same story, and we've seen it. Well, that's the argument we have for all reboots, to be fair. But a sequel to Face Off, a direct sequel.
Direct sequel to Face Off. Now, everyone knows Face Off is a bit of a cult classic, I should say. It gets some love here on the show due to the fact that it's Nicolas Cage in the 90s. You can't go wrong. It's going to be batshit insane. But it came out in 1997. So this is Oscar winner Nicolas Cage. This was one of his biggest, highest moments.
Is this possibly the peak, shall we say?
Travolta, everyone knows it's Grease. But this, for Cage, this was highest, right? And so, it came out, of course, if anyone doesn't know, it's all about how they have to swap faces, basically, and they take one guy's face off one and put it on the other guy.
And then they take the other guy's face off himself and put it on the other guy.
Yes! And then they use that to infiltrate a criminal facility.
Yeah, some kind of vague...
Because I think there's a bomb involved. Is there a bomb?
Yes. Well, yeah, it was a movie in the 90s, of course there's a bomb.
Yeah, and there's like a timer, obviously.
So, are we going to be following Travolta? Well, no, because one of them dies, and because of the face situation, it's hard for me to remember who dies.
But they have brought in the director of the upcoming Godzilla vs. Kong, and he is going to be writing the new Adam Wingard. And he's going to be the writer-director of this project. So he's currently doing Godzilla vs. Kong, and he has come out and told us that previously everyone just assumed, well, they're just probably just going to redo Face Off again, because they redo every movie these days. But he has confirmed that instead it will be literally a direct sequel that could mean the original characters will return.
But Again, Connor, I'm fairly sure. I think Nicolas Cage died.
Nicolas Cage does die, but I suppose he can come back with like a twist ending.
Well, they could have
somehow.
just saved his face, I suppose.
You put his face with somebody else.
Kind of a Game of Thrones scenario.
Exactly, the faceless men, but you do that with Nicolas Cage. You have Face Off 1 until 99. Every movie is Nicolas Cage's face, somebody else getting up to some hijinks.
Do you think that the novelty of two men swapping faces might not hit as hard in, probably 2024 when this comes out as it did back in 1997?
You know, that's a very good point, Shaun. I hadn't considered the fact that this, ultimately, the peak of technology in 97, the CGI of one man's face, and then ultimately they just play different people in a Meet the Parents kind of situation. I just think... the Parent Trap, I should say, not Meet the Parents. But I just think that it might not hit in the same way due to the fact that people are kind of like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah, because, and also, like, at that time, you get Travolta and Nick Cage. They were two of the biggest actors of the late 90s.
Yes.
Like, in order, who do you need to get to have that happen now?
Who? But I suppose they don't have to look alike in any way.
No, because they're swapping faces. That's fine.
You get Chris Hemsworth and Chris Evans.
Ooh, see, I think I would go like two very different bills. And look, let's assume it's two male actors they're picking. I would get like. To be honest, I want Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill to do it.
Is this the next sequel? Like, this could veer off into a whole different franchise.
It could face off into a whole different franchise.
Face off,
Connor.
indeed. Yes.
What I want, like, I just think it would be more interesting to watch two actors of very different. Well, actually, Jonah Hill's jacked now, but
Arnie and Danny DeVito.
Interesting. Get the twins group back
to be fair,
together.
in 97, that also would have absolutely hit.
Seeing DeVito act like Arnie and Arnie act like DeVito. Imagine.
I would watch that movie.
I would also watch that movie.
Yes.
But it would be fucked because it would be Arnie acting like Danny DeVito acting like Arnie. For the effect to work.
Well, that's why you need to bring in a great actor like Nicolas Cage, because he's Oscar winner. They were thinking about, they were like, this is a pretty big ask, we're going to need the best.
Have you seen the episode of Community where they try and figure out if Nicolas Cage is a good actor or not?
Yeah, that is exactly, yes. And they go mad.
They go insane just because he's the most complicated character.
But, Shaun, do you bring Travolta and Cage back?
I don't know. I think Cage would come back. I think he's at that point where he's just fucking doing anything. He doesn't.
Wasn't
care
he
anymore.
in like a weird alien film, like with ninjas? I can guarantee. I think someone looks this up, but either this year or there's a trailer that's already come out. But he's an ancient samurai, and aliens have come to Earth, and he's fighting them. Was his last film?
It's called Jiu-Jitsu.
Jiu-Jitsu, yes.
What the actual fuck? This poster looks like it's from the same era of Face Off.
It's the best.
What is going on here?
And Travolta's face doesn't even move anymore. How are you going to get that off? That's like a piece of cement.
What's Travolta done recently?
Absolutely nothing.
Say it again. That was a what is it good for reference. Look, you go to John Travolta's Wikipedia, it's career, then it's personal life, then it's a whole bunch of allegations.
Oh good. That's what you want. You want the wiki to be split.
So I think he hasn't been in a... Oh, sorry, his filmography
Gucci?
is a whole other.
What was that called? What was it called?
Gotti.
Gucci. Sorry, I'm very big on brands.
The story of Gucci.
I just think you bring the two of them back. I mean, what can you do? Nicolas Cage is busy being a samurai fighting aliens. He's not up to much. Travolta, he's clearly not up to much. He's pretty big on that franchise. But you bring the two of them back in. Would you watch a Face Off sequel?
Out of morbid curiosity, I think I would. And I think that'll be the market of this film. I don't think it'll be good, but I think it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Surely it makes way more sense commercially to just do a reboot.
I think a reboot would do less well than the sequel. I think the sequel has a bit of, how would they do that? I think like that element would play very well in a sequel. Whereas if it's just, it's Face Off, but with different actors, then like there's nothing. I suppose
you have like Nicolas Cage has a son in the film. Like he grows up, and he could, find out that his dad once had a different face, and he's like, I'm gonna fuck John Travolta up.
And it's a revenge story.
Yeah, a revenge story, yes.
But he wears his father's face to freak John Travolta out.
Freak him out, exactly. But he's like looking at this technology from '97 is very behind the times.
Do you think that they're like developing, deep fake and all that kind of stuff?
Yes.
Disney have their own version of that they're working on. I fully believe this film is going to be like a test for that.
Oh, okay. So
kind of like a Gemini Man scenario, but with like different actors. Maybe they do bring him in, but maybe also they don't have to.
Right, maybe. I mean, deepfake is going to kill us all eventually. So let's just let it start off. What better company to go with than Disney? They'll never do anything bad with it.
Give the mouse control, I say.
I'm all about monopolies. Let them have that technology.
More of a Trivial Pursuit man myself.
But yeah, Shaun, they are going to be doing a deepfake sequel, not a reboot. So
a deepfake sequel.
Sorry, a face-off.
Deepfake 2.
Deepfake 2. Deepfaker. Deep personal.
Deep harder.
Deep harder, of course. But we may move on, because from that bad idea for a movie that we're starting off with, Shaun, we're moving on to something that I read and I thought, surely not, because it involves Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness, that we know is going to be one of the next few Marvel movies they're going to be putting out. And it's also said to be a bit of batshit weirdness. Now, currently WandaVision is on Disney Plus, also being batshit weird, but Doctor Strange is meant to up it a little again. I mean, it's called the Multiverse of Madness. Rumoured to arrive in the Doctor Strange film, Shaun, is a character that I read the name of this comic book character. I thought, there's not a hope I have ever even heard of this character, but Shaun may have. And that is, the news this week is that Rintrah, the magical Minotaur, is to arrive in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, Shaun, that sentence shouldn't really be said by any human, but who is Rintrah, the magical Minotaur? Okay,
first of all, I just want to say this. Rintrah is an absolute legend. I love him. He's a good Minotaur guy. He's a good guy. He's a sorcerer, basically. He's a sorcerer who works with... He's like an apprentice kind of deal. Basically, the dude who made... Doctor Strange's cloak?
Yes.
The dude who made that, Rintrah is his apprentice. And they live like in another dimension, whole scenario thing. And Rintrah's, as you can imagine, is a Minotaur. He also has quite a good grasp of the mystic arts, of magic.
Well, he's a magical Minotaur. It's in his name.
Absolutely. He's half magical.
He's half magical.
He's at a certain level right now. It's been said he could be as powerful as Doctor Strange one day. Right. As like a Sorcerer Supreme scenario.
Why I bring this up is because news like this I see as more like a building block. So with everything going on with Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, you have all these random news stories, and it's kind of our job to bring them to the listeners, kind of throw them all in together so we can kind of get a bit of an overview of what exactly they're trying to do in this Multiverse of Madness film. And so the inclusion of a character called Rintrah and the Magical Minotaur kind of leads me to believe they're going in a way that might be a little out there.
Yeah, now, one of the main stories with Rintrah is that basically Doctor Strange's body is severely damaged, and he astral projects into Rintrah's body and like controls him and fights through the Magical Minotaur. I think that's the way they're probably going to go with it, to get a bit more like hand-to-hand combat in a Doctor Strange movie. But it is balls to the wall crazy, and importantly, he operates out of another dimension.
How would they get there, Shaun?
Some kind of, I don't know, portal?
Portal. Maybe you have to open up some sort of multiverse to get there.
That's madness, Connor. Wait a minute.
Write that down. Someone write that down. Fucking hell, I think we've nailed it.
We nearly lost that, guys.
I think what we're seeing with this Doctor Strange film is that they're going to be including more and more just mad characters or random characters from all these areas. Because, like, Doctor Strange as a character himself is probably, he's known, but I wouldn't say he's not Spider-Man or anything like that level. He's probably a little below or along the same lines as Iron Man before Iron Man the movie came out, which is to say that, like, not very high. But with that comes the fact that all of his characters that are like characters alongside him are villains that he faces. And not a lot of people are going to know these characters. So you're introducing all of these characters for the first time on the big screen. It is probably going to be a bit weird to try and introduce a Magical Minotaur halfway through, but then again, there's a film that has a talking tree and a talking raccoon in it.
Yeah, so like we've said this before, anything can work if you just put the effort in beforehand, and ease the audience into it, or sometimes just drop them in. People love Korg for that reason. Like Rintrah, I imagine would be a much more kind of serious character, but I do think that they're probably going to need some kind of mini team by the end of the movie to fight the big bad, you know?
Whoever the big bad is, because Spider-Man is in this film as well. Now, the big bad could be Elizabeth Olsen playing Scarlet Witch, or as Doctor Strange tries to rein her back in, and he's the only one powerful enough to do it. Is this before or after Spider-Man? So Tom Holland is on the cast list for this film, but I don't know if he's like going to come in at the very, very end, or if his shit has already gone on with all the Spider-Men and he's kind of coming in as well.
Yeah, I don't know what the like timeline is.
Because they're all interconnected.
Yeah. Like those three are confirmed, and we've known about the tie-in between WandaVision and Doctor Strange for a very long time. That was announced quite long ago. So I imagine whatever the reveal is at the end of WandaVision, whoever is the quote-unquote bad guy, that would be the villain of Doctor Strange. I imagine there could...
Strange and Wong aren't powerful enough to defeat him on their own, so they need to start bringing in other magicians or other wizards from different dimensions. Sorcerers from different dimensions.
Yeah, I can imagine they go around asking all of the Sorcerer Supremes from all of the different universes, like, help us.
You could have a Deadpool 2 situation where everyone's trying to try out for a team.
That could work. But I imagine they would be met with a lot of no's, as opposed to just having a load of people show up to them, because some of the sorcerers would probably be like, oh, I'm not getting involved with this. And then Strange would have his big thing of like, oh, no, it's every universe is at stake here.
Yeah,
like, it's the multiverse is dead.
Nobody currently right now knows who the villain in WandaVision is. And that, like, or who's going to come out of that as the main villain. Now, it could be Scarlet Witch who's gone full mad, or it could be a character that we've been rumoured to be talking about, and we did a Hero Zero on, that was Mephisto. Now, you could definitely see the bit where Doctor Strange goes around to all these different wizards and it's just like, join our team. And they're like, who are you against? Mephisto. Yeah, I'm out. Because that guy's going to fuck us all up.
Going to be a no from me, dog.
That's going to be a strong no from me, dog. Because we discussed Mephisto on Hero Zero and he is a 7 in all categories out of 7, other than intelligence where he's a 6. So you do not want to come up against him because he will kick the shit out of you.
No, like, he's functionally, like, omnipotent. Like, he can do anything. So you're going to need some real good magic to beat that, I would say.
Even if it is Scarlet Witch, she's also fairly unbeatable as a character.
Yeah, I like especially, and without spoiling anything, like, we've seen that character's power grow from their time in the MCU. So,
yeah, even if you don't look at WandaVision, like, she fought off Thanos and was destroying the Mind Stone at the same time.
Yeah, like, she is a force to be reckoned with. So if that's someone who's... And if you follow how, like, her comic book powers, in that case you need a lot of help to take her down. So
this is probably the first of many introductions to all these weird and wonderful characters in the Doctor Strange world, is kind of what we're saying here.
Yeah, and I love that they're going full mental with this, because it would be boring if all of the sorcerers were just monks, you know?
If they were all just Wong. I love Wong.
Look,
I would watch a movie with Wong.
I would, if they gave Wong his own series.
Give him his own series. Everybody else has one. Everyone else has Wong.
Oh, very good.
So, Everybody Loves Wong is the name of it. I would watch that. So we're going to move on to our next piece of news. Now, this is involved with Marvel in a loose way because it involves the Russo brothers, who are, of course, famous for Avengers Endgame and such. But they have moved on to a different part of Disney, and that is Disney's live-action remakes of animated movies, Shaun, that you love.
I think I'm against them. I think I'm going to actually come out and say I'm against them.
You said you were against the Pinocchio film, and the live-action Lion King, and the live-action Beauty and the Beast.
Lilo and Stitch, don't forget that one.
Lilo and Stitch. Hunchback of Notre Dame, that we had a few weeks ago.
Don't like that.
No, they're all seem to be fair movies that you would rather just watch animated again. But they're going to be redoing a live-action Hercules shot again, because I suppose The Rock did one already a few years ago. But Disney's live-action Hercules will spawn a decade of stories, Joe Russo has confirmed during the week.
Right. Okay.
Now, they are producing this project, and they say that it is still in development, but they are working on basically, Disney hopes to build a franchise out of Hercules, the live-action films.
Right, okay. Look, here's the thing. What they did with Mulan, and look, Mulan was not very successful, but they more closely followed the original, like, legend of Mulan. Now, look, in terms of storytelling, the Greek myths and legends are pretty amazing. So live-action adaptations of them, I understand. I can get behind that. Just following Hercules and his friends, slightly less interesting to me. And by slightly, I mean a lot less.
See, this kind of puts us in a difficult position, because we know that the Russo brothers are very talented human beings. I don't know how they are still walking after the stress of doing all of those movies over the years, but fair fucks to them. And they have not gone wrong, or gone too far wrong recently. So they are producing this, so they're not directing it outright. But they are on board to be producing it. They also have the writer of Wonder Woman 1984 and the writer of Shang-Chi. So that's Dave Callahan is the writer of both those projects. He's going to be writing the film, and they're going to be doing a live-action movie of an animated... It's a live-action CGI hybrid of a remake of a popular Disney film, which is a sentence that I feel I've said way too many times over the last year and a half, but they're doing another one with people that we like behind it. This puts me in a situation where I don't like it.
Yeah, it's very similar to the feelings I had when we said that Edgar Wright was going to be doing a sequel to Baby Driver 2, or to Baby Driver. That's... I don't know how I feel about that. I like to believe the good faith I have in the people making it, and that, you know, it'll still be a good product. But we've seen companies before bank on, like, we're going to make 7 of these Harry Potter films. These Fantastic Beasts movies are going to be the new franchise.
You don't want to say outright, we're making a franchise. I always feel like that is a big red flag.
Yeah, here's the idea. We do a bunch of connected films. Not, here's our new franchise. Because you're and this feels like a very wanky statement to say. Especially
every statement you say does, Shaun. Don't worry.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it. But especially concerning like the MCU and Disney and the blockbuster films as they are. But like when you say, I'm here to make a franchise, you don't really care about the film anymore. You just want more of them.
Yeah, and you want to end it with like a follow-up. So it always has to end on a cliffhanger, so you're not just making one film.
Yeah, there's no satisfaction for the viewer. There's always something left to come.
But yeah, so they are going to be doing a live-action Hercules movie again. I suppose, as I said earlier on, The Rock had one, I think that was 2014 maybe, and that was reasonably good.
It was alright.
It was alright. Like, you could watch it. It was pretty decent, but now I think they're going, like, all in, because they're remaking everything. So they're going all in on a Hercules project that I hope maybe it's going to get to the point where they do a live-action team-up film, Shaun, involving some people.
Hang on. Wait. Connor,
okay.
Have you played God of War?
Yes.
What if they do because Sony are out to make video game movies now.
Oh, shit.
What if they do the ultimate crossover and God of War kills all of the live-action Hercules characters? And
finishes with Hercules.
Yeah, Kratos comes in and just rips his skull out of his chest somehow.
And all the kids are like, this is a bit different. I don't know about this one. This is weird.
You got 9 more years of films, kid.
And every single one is just him coming back, and Hercules is like, guys, it's okay. I'm alive. It's like, no, you fucking don't.
It's just a series of Mortal Kombat style finishers. But on Hercules for, if I had to pick a number, 145 minutes.
Yeah, why go so big? Why go to the 2.5 hour one?
I feel that there's enough content there. The legend of Hercules is so rich and diverse that I feel you can kill him.
But once he's dead, the sequel surely is shorter.
What? Connor, you've not played God of War. There's always more killing.
But if you're killing the same guy, surely it's going to slow down on the whole story.
Oh, you would think, but I think you kill Zeus twice.
Okay, sorry, no, you're right. It's always good to bet. The second time is always way sweeter. I bet you'll get him again.
Because you get to try all the stuff you forgot in the first killing.
Yeah. So, Shaun, we're going to move on from a Hercules live-action remake to another idea for a casting choice, Shaun, that we felt actually we never even considered it, because we've been talking a lot about Keanu Reeves, and he's popped up here and there for Marvel have wanted to get him in for a long time, because Keanu Reeves, he never ages. If you get him in once, you could have a 10-year franchise. He looks the same. It's absolutely fine. But they wanted, apparently Sony were also in talks with Keanu Reeves for the role of Kraven the Hunter, the Spider-Man villain, Shaun.
Shit. God, yes, that's good.
What are your thoughts?
I love it. Of course I love it, Connor.
Yeah, but I have bad news.
He's not gotten it.
He has reportedly passed on the Spider-Man villain role.
Maybe he doesn't want to be that particular villain. I see. It would be... Look, it would be interesting to see him as Kraven the Hunter. But I'd just like to see him in a comic book role, I think. I don't think I'm married to that idea. So I'm not super disappointed because Marvel has this rotating door of actors who are always in talks to play characters. So I'm sure we'll see him at some point in the future.
And I thought Karl Urban would have been more perfect.
Karl Urban is pretty spot on.
I think if you're going to cast Kraven the Hunter and you don't cast Karl Urban, I feel like you're missing a trick. Because even his voice is just intimidating.
You're thinking of The Boys, aren't you?
I'm thinking of The Boys, yes.
Yeah, I would like Karl Urban. Joe Manganiello would be very good as well, I think.
See, he's already locked in his Deathstroke.
Is he though?
Actually, no. I take that sentence back. He is not locked in as Deathstroke. Yeah, no, he would be great as Kraven the Hunter as well. How old is Joe Manganiello? Is he 50?
I feel he's... how old was he in Spider-Man?
I suppose Keanu Reeves is like 50 as well. How old is Karl Urban? 40?
Manganiello is 44.
Okay.
That's young enough to be
That's
Kraven.
about that's about the age he looked in Spider-Man 1.
Yep, Karl Urban, 48.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, he's looking well for 48.
He's looking well for 48.
And Keanu Reeves, it just says infinity.
It just says question mark. Nobody fucking knows, man.
No, Keanu Reeves is 56.
Okay. But could you see... See, Sony are just desperate to get this Sony Spider-Verse kind of thing going. So they're just trying to cast all these characters. And they've got a Kraven the Hunter movie in the works. They're now trying to cast him. Who would you... Out of those three, would Joe be your first choice?
See, you've said Karl Urban, and I think that's very good. I think he's got the the gruffness and the meanness to him. Like, he looks like a man who lived in the wild for a decade.
No offense, Carl.
No offense,
just really quickly.
But also, like, if we have this Spider-Man crossover, it's going to bring the whole Flash Thompson thing up for debate.
Yeah, I suppose, especially if they're going into the Spider-Verse kind of area where, like, Andrew Garfield's coming back and all that, like, or all the Peter Parkers are coming back from all the different universes, and you're kind of like, isn't that Flash Thompson? That's weird.
That's very weird. But
why is he Kraven the Hunter?
Everyone will think it in the theatre.
Exactly, everyone. Maybe me and you.
We'll stand up. Excuse me, folks, that's Flash.
I don't like this. That is Flash. For me, forever. I think, and he's like older than the teacher in the first film.
Yeah, he is. Like, that's a fact. I think Karl Urban would be my pick out of those three, because I want Keanu Reeves to be like something more magical. Like, I'd love him to be Ghost Rider. That'd be class.
Oh, yeah. See, Keanu Reeves, what the news here is that Keanu Reeves has passed on that role, but it tells us two things. One, all these studios are kind of going around Keanu Reeves trying to recruit him, because he's a big name. He's also starring in Matrix 4 later this year. So they want to get him in. He's going to come hot off the fact of Matrix 4. And so they're like, right, let's get him in. He's John Wick. He's Neo. He's got to be cool. We'll bring him into our superhero world. And he said he's kind of open to that idea. But then this also tells us that Sony are very much trying to find a Kraven the Hunter ASAP, because they need to get this universe going.
Yeah, I'm worried about Sony doing Kraven the Hunter. I'm worried about all the Sony villain movies.
I'm worried about Sony.
I'm worried about Sony. I hope they're okay. Until that God of War movie comes out, I won't sleep soundly. But
have you been playing God of War?
I love God of War. God of War is class.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to do Kraven's Last Hunt straight away somehow. Which is what, Shaun? Look, spoilers for Kraven's Last Hunt, I guess.
Okay.
But Kraven tries to prove he's better than Spider-Man, and at the crux of the story, he realises he isn't, because Spider-Man helps people. And then,
as with all superhero movies, he's like, I'm definitely better than him. Wait, I'm not. Oh no.
And then Kraven, who up until this point had always used like weapons, like handheld weapons in his bare hands to kill the game that he hunts, He pulls out a gun and commits suicide because he realises he won't be as good as Spider-Man. He'll never best him.
They absolutely will not do that ending though, because they need him for the Sinister Six.
They'll bring him back.
Yeah,
they will kill him and bring him back Superman style.
They will bring him back straight away. Nobody will think that's weird. So yeah, Keanu Reeves passed on the role of Kraven the Hunter, Shaun, but it's still out there. Kraven the Hunter is still yet to be filled, that role. I'm still going for Karl Urban, but I can see Joe Manganiello, he can step in. I'm open to the idea. Actually, I actually would prefer, as you said, Keanu Reeves maybe in a different role. I definitely want him in a superhero film because he's a very cool dude, right?
He's
with
a nice
attitude,
man.
Shaun. He's a lovely man. So I'd like to see him getting all the success. So we're going to move on to our next piece of news, Shaun. And this is another remake of a movie that didn't just happen in the 90s, Shaun, or the 80s, or the 70s, or the 60s, or the 50s, or the 40s.
Or the
in
30s?
the 30s, Shaun.
Is this train coming into station?
That is such a movie college course joke about that one film.
It's fucking good though, isn't it?
What a reference. No, it is about the Wizard of Oz, you idiot.
Did we not already get a remake of that with James Franco?
It's the Wizard of Oz remake is happening at New Line now, Shaun.
Okay, but why? What's the point?
It's just we don't know what happens. Let's do it again.
Let's do
it again.
Of all the iconic films, you pick that one. Here's the thing. Wizard of Oz, one of the big things is like, oh, it's in colour. Here's a movie that starts in black and white, or sepia, or whatever the fuck, and it goes colour. That was what was on the poster. And what's the modern day equivalent of that? Because 3D is shit. And
4D?
Smell-o-vision? Spy Kids 4 style?
Spy Kids 4, yeah. Smell-o-vision, you could do that. I don't know. I don't know why you would want to touch The Wizard of Oz, but when you think about it, it's perfect for them, because everybody has heard of The Wizard of Oz, but probably a lot of kids haven't seen it. So if you redo it, it falls into that weird little hole of, like, not a lot of people have seen. Like, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I've seen Wizard of Oz, but they've seen, like, lots of clips of The Wizard of Oz, or they know the story of The Wizard of Oz.
They've seen it referenced in other things, yeah.
Yeah, but if you redo the film, like, they did Alice in Wonderland, remember, like, a decade ago? They just are going to redo it again, just with modern actors. And you throw it all in, you make $1 billion, everybody's laughing.
I mean, it might work in a way. Like, it'll be a very different movie, though. And maybe that is good, to separate it from the old one. But the old one is so iconic that I think in a weird way it's almost going to be referencing itself. It's like, hey, you remember this from the first movie?
I want the flying, like the witches flying monster things, or like the birds. Monkeys. Yeah, the flying monkeys. I want them to be like in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers film. I want them to have the exact same design.
Really? The exact same?
The exact same design, Shaun, yes.
Because we talked about that movie on Patreon, Connor.
Yeah. And you said it was the greatest... No, you said it was the greatest set design you'd ever seen.
Oh, that's true. Sorry, yeah. I forgot completely about all my principles.
I had forgotten that you were enchanted by that set design. Sorry. Yes, no, I just think it would be a lot funnier if it was a very serious movie and then you had Ivan Ooze setting out those monsters.
Oh, with this movie as well, do you think
Wizard of Ooze!
Do you think they're going to do dark and gritty, like Maleficent style?
Dark and gritty? Yeah, I want them dark and gritty. I want this as dark as humanly possible. I don't even want to be able to fucking see it. I want just the Cowardly Lion is found out because there's a mugging going on beside him and his friend gets mugged and he just looks at it and he's like, no, and he runs away. I want that, like, his friend dies, like.
There's a point. Are they going to do a real lion or an anthropomorphized lion? Like a man in a lion suit?
I 100%, it's CGI lion, surely.
Like a real fucking lion.
Yeah, like it'll be like Lion King style.
Like Aslan.
Yeah, very similar.
Right, and the Tin Man, that'll be...
Oh, the Tin Man, that'll just be designed. They just dress him up. And like, it's the same outfit from 1939, so it just like, beside Aslan the Lion looks really weird.
And then Pete Davidson as the Scarecrow.
Scarecrow's Cillian Murphy.
Just tie those universes together.
Bring him in.
In comes Kratos.
Ew.
Right?
I'm listening. Go on.
Right up to the big head behind the curtain.
I just think that this movie, it's the perfect thing of what Hollywood is, where nothing is sacred anymore. They have to remake everything.
Yeah, and they'll just do it for the sake of it. And wouldn't it be great to come up with a new idea as like innovative and culturally significant as The Wizard of Oz? Wouldn't it be great to come up with a new one of those?
Wouldn't it just be good to come up with a new idea?
Oh, that's even better.
I'm just saying, I don't want to speak out of turn here, but I just think that maybe somebody should be paid to think, that's never been done. I should do a movie about that.
Connor, what you've done there, you've just used up the new idea in thinking that maybe we should have new ideas.
Oh, yeah, my brain's melting now. I actually can only think of remakes.
See, that's all I can think of as well. I love Hercules.
Your brain space only has enough room for original ideas, Shaun. Eventually you just have to keep doing diehards.
Diehards, and then directors recutting their own films again.
Hey, come on now. Have a bit of respect for the greatest movie ever.
Oh, I'm so upset.
They are going to be doing a remake of The Wizard of Oz. Just when you thought nothing was sacred, they are also going to be doing this. I want it as dark and gritty as possible. I want just death. I want those flying monkeys to massacre some people. I want Alice to just... not Alice. Jesus.
Come on, you got it.
I want... especially with the Tin Man to die. I think he needs to fear death at all times. The Cowardly Lion needs to think, yeah, this is it, at all times. Dorothy doesn't make it true.
You want Dorothy to die in The
I want
Wizard of
Dorothy
Oz.
to die. It's that dark and gritty. It's just like skyscrapers, raining. It has to be raining all the time. That's how we'll know it's cool.
And then at the very end, the Wicked Witch invites her on a talk show to, do some stand-up comedy.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
she says, she's like, we live in a society, and the witch is like, we do. We absolutely do, Dorothy, you're dead right.
Yeah, fair play.
Oh man, what a bad idea. It'll make $1 billion. Who cares?
That annoys me, but it's fine.
Just leave it alone. Okay, we're going to move on to our next piece of news. And Shaun, you'll be surprised that this is a sequel. So this is a sequel you might like because it's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2.
Ooh.
And the news this week is that a new rumour has claimed to know the identity of the villain for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2. And it's, I would say, a C-list villain, which is why it's so weird. It's a very obscure Marvel character, very similar to earlier on with Doctor Strange. But that's because they claim that the villain for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2 will be a character known as The Spot.
The Spot, you say?
The Spot, Shaun, yes.
Interesting.
Once again, this is one of those situations where I think Shaun will probably know who this person is because he's got a weird brain for Marvel characters, but I have no idea. So please, do you have any information that you could possibly offer to kind of fill us all in on who The Spot is?
Yes. So the Spot he's a scientist. Well, he was a scientist. He was roommates with Quentin Beck, Mysterio, actually.
That'll save a lot of time.
Yeah, and he was studying. Do you remember I did a report on Cloak back in the day?
From Cloak and Dagger, yes.
Yes. So Cloak, for anyone that doesn't know, is the human embodiment. He's a portal to a place called the Dark Dimension. where there's dark energy and you can travel through it and things like that. So the spotter, Jonathan On is his name, was researching to try and replicate that, like artificially, like through science, to find a way into that dimension. But he basically fell into the dimension, got tossed around a little bit, like a tennis ball in a dryer, and then was spat out. His skin was bleached white, but he had all these circles all over his body, and every one was a portal to another dimension.
Right.
He could take them off his body and throw them places and make people fall into them. There's a very good comic panel of Spider-Man trying to punch him, and Spider-Man punches himself in the face because it goes out one portal and in another.
That's a classic Peter Parker move. Peter Parker will always harm himself or make his life worse if he can.
That's definitely going to happen to Peter B. Parker, is all I'm saying.
100%. Jake Johnson, you need to watch out for that. That is 100% coming your way. But the more you describe him, he's interdimensional, and he has all these things on his skin that create dimension portals, and this is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2. Shaun, it's starting to make a lot more sense why they've chosen him.
It is all lining up, isn't it?
It is. It's almost like he's kind of weirdly the perfect villain, because is there a character in Marvel, I suppose in the Rogues Gallery of Marvel, there wouldn't be a character that is that perfect for if you're going to do a multiverse situation?
No, not on the level of, like, that they want in this movie. Because obviously you could do, like, the gods and celestials and, you know, even Mephisto. Technically, you could do the other dimension stuff. But this is a much more on-the-ground feeling threat in terms of extra-dimensional travel. Because he's not superpowered, is the thing. He's a teleporter, so, like, on the 1 to 7 rating system, his speed would be 7, for example.
Right, okay.
He's quite intelligent, because he's a scientist in Marvel, so obviously he has, like, superhuman smarts. But everything else about him, he's a regular man. You know, it's just he's hard to hit, basically. And
actually, this kind of goes along with the fact that if he can create that many universes at will, or that many portals, that kind of raises the question that we could be seeing a lot more Spider-Man in this film than had previously been seen. So what did we have in the last one? 5? Were there 5 other ones? There was Spider-Gwen, there was Peter B. Parker, there was
Spider-Pig, Spider-Ham.
Spider-Ham. You had the robot anime Spider-Man, and then you had Spider-Man Noir.
Yeah, and you had, like, the original Peter Parker in the first bit, I guess, as well.
Yeah, played by Chris Pine, who I've rewatched that first 15 minutes, and that is, like, perfect Spider-Man.
Oh, it's great. I love it so much.
It's so good. But and then, of course, you have Miles Morales as well. But I'm not counting him because he's the main character. But if you have 5 extra people coming in, this guy can create portals to hundreds of different places. And Chris Miller and Phil Lord, who are directing the project, or they were the ones who have done 21 Jump Street, and they've done Into the Spider-Verse, the first one. They've also said that there could be a whole bunch of characters. They have a wide breadth of characters that are coming out of the Spider-Man universes now, that they have to choose from, I should say, and that they get to pluck whoever they want to put into this film. So we could see a countless other versions of Spider-Man come into this film, as opposed to the last one.
Yeah, and we got the tease of Spider-Man 2099 at the end of the first Spider-Verse. Yeah, he's great. Yeah, Oscar Isaac. It's fucking amazing. So you can just pull all of these weird, random, mental Spider-Men from all over the multiverse, pull them all into that movie. And then maybe they show up in the MCU somehow. Who knows?
Ooh, yes. No, I just think the more I hear about Spider-Verse, like, I read The Spot, and I was kind of like, who the fuck is this guy? But now that you've described him, all I can say is, like, oh yeah, that's like a weirdly perfect villain who a lot of people won't know, but you can use that villain to introduce the big villains that people might know. Like, you open a Spider-Man... Go on.
This villain could have been designed for Spider-Verse, but he just happened to exist in comics already since like the 80s.
And you use him to say, even if you have a Green Goblin or whatever from a different dimension, like he opens up a portal and Green Goblin comes in, and you have like now you have 6 Spider-Men versus a situation where maybe there's a bit of a sinister other 6 people there.
I'm not sure what you're getting at there, but go on.
Justice League.
Is that a segue?
Justice League is our next. Justice League is actually our last news story of the week, but I was making a quick little, a bit of a funny gag shot.
Bit of a good joke, one of your best. Let's hope you top it next week.
I'll just keep aiming higher and higher. Eventually, I hope they will be funny.
One of these days you'll get there, kid.
One of these days. I just want to be like you. So we were finishing off this week with the new trailer that everybody's talking about. It is Zack Snyder's Justice League. We have heard so many bits of news over the last 3 months, just non-stop. We've been inundated with news stories, and finally we have been given a trailer for this film that will be released in about 32 days, because it's out on March 18th. Shaun, what are your thoughts on the Zack Snyder Justice League trailer? I think it's really, really great. Go on.
Okay, can you justify that point to me first?
It looked cool. Has Superman in it. Has Batman in it. Has Darkseid in it for a little bit. He kind of moves away.
Can I just say that is all we're going to see of Darkseid, isn't
it? 100%. Yeah, so this trailer, look, we have given Zack Snyder a lot of shit here on the show, and I think sometimes it's actually kind of become the norm to kind of give him shit, and people kind of go the opposite way. As with everything in our society, they're like, if a lot of people are like, that's not good, you're going to have a loud version other people to go, I love that, that's amazing. And if you're excited about Justice League, that is completely your prerogative. That's pretty great. Personally, I feel like we should move on, and I feel like this is a weird anchor holding us back to the previous DC that wasn't very good.
Yeah, this feels like they just don't know how to break up with Zack Snyder. And they're just letting him do his thing and hoping that he leaves on his own.
We can still be friends, and then you like go to the cinema together as friends.
Yeah, and it's weird, and it's a weird dynamic. No, like, this film, I'm fairly sure, is going to be fundamentally the same movie that we've already seen, only longer.
Yeah, it's 4 hours, Shaun.
It's 4 hours long. From what I've been reading, that a lot of the additional scenes come from the whole Nightmare Batman sequence, which is like, it's a dream. It's not real.
And so doesn't make any difference.
It makes no difference to the actual plot of the movie that we've already seen. Adding in more of that won't affect what they filmed for the end of that movie.
Also, we will talk about the trailer itself, and if we're going to start talking about the trailer, if you want to go about the nightmare scene, 2 interesting parts about that. As you said, that's probably where he's going to add a lot of scenes. We see Cyborg in the background of that now. He's just over his shoulder. But not only that, is we've got Mr. Jared Leto, because this is Jared Leto news. That's right, he's back. The big man,
so glad
the
I don't
Lord
have to
himself.
Put that on like a soundboard, that you're just always willing to fully commit to it.
Always. I'll never give up. But this is Jared Leto's finest hour, Shaun, as Joker. Surely he's no longer damaged. Now he's here to tell us all about the society that we live in and how fucked up it is.
So the Joker spent a lot of money on tattoo removal, apparently.
I think he spent a lot of money getting the tattoos, and then he spent a lot of money getting rid of them.
Okay. I'll say about this Joker design, it is certainly better than the Suicide Squad one. There's still elements, like it just doesn't feel right to me. It feels like a very safe version of the Joker. Like, it's not quite Heath Ledger, but it's not quite Cesar Romero either.
I couldn't see his moustache underneath all that white paint, so maybe not Cesar Romero.
But, like, apparently that the Joker, and I guess spoilers possibly for this movie, it's possible that the Joker and Batman thing is that's an internal dialogue in Batman's head, that he has someone to talk to in moments of silence while he's in the wasteland area.
Very similar to Arkham Knight. They do that, like, when...
Yes!
In Arkham Knight, he gets infected, and you constantly see Joker, Mark Hamill's Joker, and he's constantly talking to you as you're going through missions.
Yeah. Like, that's interesting. I'm excited to see what they do with that. I will, like... I'm going to try and stop shitting on this movie. It does... Like, some of the shots are very nice. It does look very good.
I think it does look way, I would say, 100 times better than the original Justice League.
Absolutely.
And Steppenwolf looks really, really good.
And Steppenwolf...
In the last one, he looked awful.
Yeah, it's a really interesting thing they did with Steppenwolf in this trailer, because nearly the first time we see him, he's bowing down to Darkseid. And he's saying, like, I'm gonna do your work, boss. But, like, when you see that, like, giant hulk of a spiky fucking alien man bowing to this other giant alien man, you know that you know who's in charge, and you know where the real threat is. That's a very good way of showing that. It's a shame that we're probably, like, barring some major Twitter campaign, we're never going to see Darkseid in this film.
Did you
series.
See that Zack Snyder wanted Justice League 2, and he had to confirm that Justice League 2 isn't happening, and he said that Warner Brothers had no interest in it. I mean, until Twitter speaks up, guys. Hashtag Justice League 2. That's what we want.
I think my problem is that this universe doesn't interest me, because I feel like it's never going to go anywhere, and the things I've seen of it so far have not been enough to forgive the faults of it, you know?
Yeah, we're kind of watching this in, like, okay, well, we'll give it one last go, let's see what they have, but we all know it's a lost cause. Like, there's never going to be a follow-up, and if there is a follow-up, I think it'll probably be 5 years down the line, and does it really matter? At that stage, probably not. They've probably moved on to another Justice League movie, or they have another one planned in the other universe with Robert Pattinson and everything. So I think this is kind of the last hurrah for the original DC movies, and I think it would get a lot more fanfare, but the first round, or first go-around of these films were met with middling to negative, I would say. A lot of people liked them, but I would say mostly the majority was middling to negative, and so it's kind of like we're celebrating something everyone was kind of like lukewarm on to start with.
Yeah, and we're hailing this recut as like, oh, we want to tell the true version of this film. But you had your chance to do that. Like, Warner Brothers had their chance to make this film, and they decided it wasn't the route they wanted to go. And that's what soured public opinion on these things.
Well, okay, so in terms of the trailer itself, we have Lex Luthor talking at the start. He's like, oh, the god is dead, and they're talking about Superman. We have Batman telling us all that there's an attack coming. He feels it in his bones.
He had a dream.
I had a dream, and I was on a lot of drugs, and I seen Jared Leto. Don't talk to me, Wonder Woman. It was pretty bad. But I'm telling you, there's an attack coming from a bull-looking chap, and he's not too happy. And then we have Alfred saying the line about don't put a red cape in front of a charging bull, which
symbolism.
Is a symbolism to Superman and Steppenwolf. So maybe he's saying don't bring back Superman because he has a red cape, because Steppenwolf looks slightly like a bull, which I think is poor advice, because as has been proven in this universe, Superman is way more powerful than everybody else in the team. And the first step you should always take is, let's resurrect Superman. He might win it for us.
But and we see Black Suit Superman.
Black Suit Superman,
trailer.
Yes.
Very angry, very willing to...
Oh, I was angry.
Always angry. Lasers out of eyes. Not happy to be woken up this early. But
no, the snooze button was pressed a few times. He was not happy about being resurrected.
He's been dead like a whole 6 months or something in this continuity.
And everybody's just over it. What
everybody's moved on. But we then see a shot later in the film. It's that shot outside of Martha's farmhouse.
And he's topless, yeah.
Yeah, and that we've already seen that. That's where he just flies to Kansas and he's fine again.
No, he's really angry, and then Lois is like, "You're a nice guy, Clarke. I love you. Don't you remember your family house? Huh? You're a good guy." And he's just like, "I don't want to kill anyone anymore. You're right."
I'm a good boy.
And he's after kicking the shit out of Justice League.
Yeah, he's done so much harm.
So you have Black Suit Superman. You have Iris West in this as well. Now, we've seen a little bit of her, but you see the Flash saving her. It's just another shot. We're kind of just trying to pick out all the new shots from this trailer because a lot of the shots have been used before in a previous movie, if you can kind of remember that film. I mentioned that Steppenwolf looked a lot better. What did you think about Batman still insisting on the guns and the tanks?
There's heaps of guns in this.
There's
heaps
guns.
of violent assault weapons being used by a character that, fair enough, will beat a man to within an inch of his life, but will never fire lead at him.
Even at aliens, I don't think I've ever seen Batman fire a laser at an alien, like a laser gun.
No, anything with gun, he generally decides, no,
avoids.
Not for me.
Yeah, and now unfortunately we probably should have expected this due to the fact Zack Snyder was the one who came up with the idea originally, and even though he stepped away, he's now back, so I feel like we should have expected that it was going to get more gun heavy.
And what do you feel about the Bat Tank?
I suppose they had that in Batman Begins as well. Like, he had a Bat Tank in that regard. And they had one in Arkham Knight as well, where I think it was weirdly explained, like, if you touch the edges you get electrocuted, and when he fires it, he fires sandbags. So, like, you're not firing actual bullets, you're just absolutely breaking ribs and bones and stuff, which could still kill people, but...
Still killing people, they're definitely dead, like. But
100%.
That, this is another element from The Dark Knight Returns, the one comic book that Zack Snyder has read.
Yes, true. He does have a tank in that comic book, yes.
So, like, look, it's a good comic book, but it's later days Batman, and we've not seen early days Batman at all.
You also have a little bit of Granny Goodness. She appears. Her, Darkseid and Steppenwolf are all walking along a little platform. Granny Goodness is in the background. She's like... The best way I could describe her is she's like the granny in Futurama.
Oh, she's like Mom.
Yeah, she's like nice on TV, or she's like really good, and then behind the scenes she's pure evil. Excellent,
I love it.
She's in Young Justice. Like, I think she's the big bad of season 3. Like, so she's very much behind the scenes. She's always up to something, and she's clearly beside Darkseid and Steppenwolf in space here. So she's not of Earth currently. But normally I see her as like, she's like an old politician or an old something very simple, like Futurama, where she's like an old politician or an old spokesperson who's always on the news going, well, maybe these superheroes aren't so good, guys. You know what I mean? Maybe
you can trust me.
I'm just little old me, but I just think these superheroes need to be stopped. And then behind the scenes, she's got like a whole factory designing monsters to kill the superheroes.
Yeah, and do we know if this is getting released outside of HBO Max at all?
I don't think so right now. We have no information on that. I think it's still on HBO Max.
Right, so me and you need to fly to America,
We're going to fly to
Max
America,
subscription,
watch it, and then we'll do a review on the show.
My God, imagine. Are we going to... This is something we'll talk about off mic.
You also have... all I will say is there's not a lot of surprises. And I think my last note is Joker FFS. So Joker for fuck's sake. Because that whole scene is just an add-on. Joker, I don't think, is even there, really, as you said. Like, I think Batman's just talking to him in his brain, in this nightmare world, and then when it'll cut back and it'll just be the same film.
Yeah, it's stuff that was cut, and it was cut for a reason, because it didn't progress the plot at all.
Shaun, are you excited about Justice League anymore after watching this trailer?
I'm as excited as I was, which is
That's not a lot.
very...
Not a lot. We started on a 2.
We started on a 2. I'm at maybe a 2 right now.
I think for me, I'm in an interest, like, I want to be excited about this. Like, I'm like, oh, that looks good. But every time, like, I lean slightly forward, then I remember, oh, there's a whole movie that they're already they're redoing that movie, and that movie was really bad. So then I just, like, sit back. I'm going to, like, I can't get excited for something that I know I've already seen the worst bits of.
Yeah, like, if this comes out and it's mostly the same story with extra scenes that just slow it down, that's the worst this could possibly be.
Because this is, at the minute, in my head, it's the hour and a half of Justice League with another 2.5 hours added on of stuff they deleted before in the first time around.
Yeah, like, that's what a cutting room floor is for.
So, Shaun, I think that's it for this week's Movie Mondays, but we're excited about Justice League, yay!
We're all equally excited about it and can't wait.
I just think it's the best movie ever, and if you don't believe that, I can't wait to see it. I think Batman killing aliens, I can't wait to see Jared Leto back as Joker, telling me he lives in a society. I'm freaked out. I just think this movie's made for me.
Well, look, there's its target demographic there is people who think they'll like it.
I just think this should be a trilogy. I'm just saying, never mind 2, make 3 of them.
10-year franchise, perhaps.
10-year franchise? How are you telling me Hercules gets a 10-year franchise? Not this masterpiece.
It feels like it's been going on for 10 years, alright?
Yeah. Shaun, do you want to take us out?
Yeah, thank you everyone for listening to this episode of Movie Mondays. We will be back on Wednesday with Weird News Wednesday, Friday with Hero or Zero, and next Monday with another episode of Movie Mondays. Big thank you goes out to all of our patrons over on Patreon, patreon.com/Heroes for Hire podcast, by the way. That's where you can go and support the show if you want to. Whole host of rewards up there. One of those rewards being a shout out on the show. So of course, shout outs have to go out to, and before I do this, I'm legally required to say whatever name the people want, okay?
I know what's going to come up here, and I'm very happy about it. Please, everyone, keep changing your names. Please, Shaun, continue.
So big thanks goes out to Waffles Williams, Ciara Lawler, David Clarke, Ed Ball, Joe Burney, Raymond DeezNutz Ging, Roisin Hally, Ryan Evanson, Shaun Spear for a Head Jamieson, Dominic, Jessiah Florida Gal Green, Anna Aspiring Sharkfoot Hjelmroos, Lil Dicky Tiny but Mighty McGrew, and Luke HothOffPodcast.
Lil Dicky McGrew, he changes his name every single week and it gets better. It doesn't make any sense.
There's so many versions of this Google Doc now.
Amazing. But, oh man, when I keep seeing all these name changes and people, like, everyone's messaging the Instagram and the Twitter just being kind of like, oh, I want to change it to this. I immediately get on to Shaun, change it to that, and he just gives me a look of like, I'm going to have to read so much. And then when I heard DeezNutz was one of the editions, I thought, he's going to have to read it. He's like Ron Swanson.
Thought we've peaked. Ron Burgundy. Ron Swanson would not entertain this, my friend.
No, Ron Swanson would be very against it. But, yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say thanks to everyone for the continued support. Other ways you can support the show, there is our merch store linked below, or you can follow us on all the social medias. They're all linked there as well. But the most important thing is just tell one human being that we exist. Just the one, please. And I think that's about it, Connor. I think so. So I've been Ciara Lawler. I have been Shaun Meighan. We'll see you next week, guys. Bye. Bye.